Hey, what's going on with you all? Thank you for tapping in with me again today. And if you're new to the channel, my name is Cleveland. So welcome to the Fish Corner, everybody. If you are new to the channel, do a couple things before this video gets started. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and lastly, hit the like button. 3 things, real simple. Hey, man, it's the weekend. Hopefully everybody's doing good. It's Sunday morning. I'm feeling good. Just got back from the gym. Health is wealth, y'all. So, it's never too late to get back healthy. I was out of shape for a long time. Stayed out of the gym for a couple years during the pandemic, and I'm on my way back. So, get on the journey with me. But anyway, let's get into the video. So, tips, tricks, hacks, things about the fish hobby that I wish I would have learned years ago. Saves a lot of money, y'all. Saves a lot of money, y'all. And make things easier. The more time that we have to enjoy the aquariums and less work we have to do, equals a lot more therapy. You know what I mean? Because a lot of us, enjoy our aquariums. It's like therapy for us. You know what I mean? So we want to actually enjoy the aquariums instead of spending so much time working on the aquariums. So how can we make this not only easier, more cost efficient, and allow us to have more joy with our aquariums? Well, one of the things that I want to show you right now is it's about filtration, right? It's about these pot scrubbers. Pot scrubbers, y'all. These are pot scrubbers from the Dollar Tree. You get 2, 4, 6, 7, 2, 4, 6, 8, 2, 4, 7. So you get 7 of these pot scrubbers per bag for $1.25. Now, what do we do with these pot scrubbers? Now, here's a few things you can do with the pot scrubbers, y'all. They also have these mesh laundry bags. Bring it closer to you, these mesh laundry bags, $1.25. They're pretty large. You get a 3 count. So you could put these pot scrubbers in there, or you could put your ceramic media rings in here. You could put your media blocks in here. You could do a lot of different things with this. You could put lava rock in here. If you don't know, lava rock is a wonderful filter media for any type of filter. You could put it in your hang on the back filters. You could put it in your canister filters. You could put it in your sumps, all of that. But when you start talking about sumps, that's when these media bags come in handy, y'all. So these media bags is definitely a hack that I wish I would have learned years ago when I first got into the hobby. These pot scrubbers, now for the pot scrubbers, you could put these pot scrubbers inside of your canister filters. You could put them in your hang on the back filters. You could put them in your sump. They go in all of those different places. And we got 21 of these right here. And we spent $3.75. I mean, you can't beat that. Another benefit of these pot scrubbers is that, let's say you do put them in your sump, or you put them wherever. I would say probably the sump. Let's talk about the sump. You put them in the sump, and you want to start up another aquarium. You could just pull these out and throw them into that new aquarium, and immediately jumpstart that aquarium, and you can add fish in the same day. You know how you go to the store and you buy the beneficial bacteria that's inside of a bottle? When you have media on hand, pot scrubbers, whatever the case may be, and you have them inside of a sump, a filter, or whatever, and you could just pull it out and throw it into another aquarium, you're basically saving yourself money, because now you don't need the bottle of beneficial bacteria, because you immediately add the beneficial bacteria from the old system to the new system. Another thing you could do is you could just let them float in your aquarium. I mean, some people don't like the way it looks, but they're colorful, it looks kind of nice. You could just match them up. You could put all blue, all yellow, all red, all green, whatever the case may be. You could throw it in your aquarium, just leave it floating in there. If you know that you're going to set up an aquarium in the future, let's just say you're going to set up an aquarium in a month. You could easily just leave these floating in one of your aquariums for that month until it's time to set up the new one, and then just throw them into that aquarium. So it's like planning ahead. If you know you're going to set up something, just grab some pot scrubbers, $1.25, throw them in an aquarium for a while. And when the time comes for you to set that new aquarium up, instead of buying that beneficial bacteria in the bottle, just throw the pot scrubbers in that new aquarium, immediately start it up. That's one of the hacks that I wish I would have known a while ago. The next one, since we just talked about filtration, we got to talk about draining the aquarium, y'all, right? We got to talk about draining the aquarium. So typically, you get you a siphon, right? Hopefully you're using the siphons with the little pump, because if you're still sucking on the back of the water hose and getting fish water in your mouth, more power to you. But you don't have to do it that way. You could get the one with the pump, and you can just push the pump a few times. It'll put water inside of this tube, and it'll drain the aquarium. So now this is the step up from the old school sucking on the hose, draining the tank that way, right? This is a good idea. This is actually really good. But how do you make this better, y'all? How do you make siphoning an aquarium better, faster, and easier? You throw a pump on the hose. Matter of fact, what you do is you get rid of this section. You get rid of this pump. You connect it to the hose. You connect the hose to the pump. Drop the pump in the aquarium. Plug it in, and it's going to siphon your aquarium a lot faster than you ever can with using just gravity-fed siphoning. So that right there, y'all, is a game changer. That right there is something that I wish. So that right there, y'all, is a game changer. That right there is something that I wish I would have known years ago when I first started out in the fish hobby. So hopefully that helps one of you to make things a lot faster when it comes to doing a water change, cleaning an aquarium. So we talked about filtration. We talked about draining. What about filling? How do you fill up your aquariums? You can't go grab a water hose because that water hose is cold water. So you can't put water from the water hose inside the aquarium. Cold water. Unless you have like koi or cold water fish, you can't use it for tropical fish. It's not going to work. You're going to have to heat that water, right? So basically, sometimes people are using buckets. They're filling the warm water in the bucket. They coming over. They dumping it into the aquarium. How are you adding water to your aquarium? Let me know in the comments down below. I would love to know how you are filling up your aquariums these days. Some people, they get a python. You know, it's a whole little system. You know, it helps you drain it, helps you fill it. You attach it to a spigot, to the faucet, and you fill up your aquarium that way. That's a great way of filling it up, right? But the thing is, now you got to disconnect it. You got to find somewhere to put the python, or if you just have a four-way valve, you could just get a water hose. You can still pour water from a sink. It's still another great way. That's still another great way of filling up that aquarium. Grabbing the four-way, two-way, hooking up the water hose, filling up your aquarium. But how do you make that better, y'all? Let's talk about how you can make it better. All right, this right here is how you can make it better. So if you are in a space where you have a mop sink, let's just say your fish room or your aquarium is near a garage and you have a mop sink in there, this is the four-way that I was talking about. So you take the four-way, you can hook a water hose up to this, you can fill up your aquarium. Then you got to find somewhere to hook up the water hose. Then you got to find somewhere to store the water hose when you're done with it. Now, when you have a manifold like this, you can just leave it plumbed in. Now, the way you do it, you'll cut on the water right here. Same way you cut on the water in most of these sinks. Open up the valve, fill up the aquarium. Now, this manifold, it might look a little complicated, but trust me, it's not. Anybody could do it. All you do is just have a line coming from the four-way to the manifold. That's a little hose bib screwed into some PVC glued into the PVC pipe, elbow glued, bring it over, a T, a valve, and then another PVC with the threaded side for another hose bib, and then just go into a line, right? So I have about 10 lines on this manifold, but let's just say you only got one aquarium, two aquariums, you only need two. So it's much easier, y'all, but it still allows you to have the lines constantly ran into the aquariums, so you're not always having to go and grab the hose, pull out the hose, use it, drain the water out the hose, store the hose, all of that. I mean, it's not a lot, but it can be a lot. And this right here, y'all, just makes things that much easier. All right, so we've talked about filtration media. We talked about draining the aquarium. We talked about filling the aquarium. What else could there be? Oh, I said 4 hacks, right? The last hack, y'all, it's another way of filtering your aquarium. We're doing this in a natural way. Any ideas of how you filter your aquarium in a natural way? Plants. Now get you some plants in that aquarium. If you don't have fish that's going to eat the plants, destroy the plants, get you some plants in there. And it don't always have to be the plants that sit inside the aquarium. Now those are great. Now it is great to have plants that actually sit inside the aquarium and grow. They're going to do a great job. But that's not the only way that you can use plants to help you naturally filter an aquarium. These are aesthetically pleasing. It adds a beautiful look to your aquarium. But when you start bringing up the plants out the water, it changes things up. Look at these pothos growing. Now you could either just stick some pothos in the aquarium like how these are. They're just sitting in here. Just got them sitting in here and they're growing across the top, looking real good. Or you could just take it up a step, and this is a little DIY above the tank sump, and then I got some pothos growing in there as well. So it's a bunch of different ways to grow your plants and add them to your aquarium so they can do what they're supposed to do, which is help you by pulling out the nitrates from the water. Natural way of filtering the aquarium. Now, ideally, some people might not like this because it's an eyesore, whatever the case may be. Whatever your preference is, like I said, you could easily just stick them in the back. Look at this. Putting them in the aquarium, they're growing roots. All the roots are just hanging down, growing down, making it look even more natural. Look at all those roots in the back. So, multiple ways of finding a natural way of filtering your aquarium. And it doesn't stop you from having to do water changes. It just helps your fish live a healthier, happier life by not having the nitrates at an all-time high, because these plants are going to be thriving from it. And I mean, it gives it a beautiful aesthetic too, even when it's just growing out the water on top of the aquarium. And then, like I said, if you have a community tank such as this, and you could throw plants inside your aquarium, by all means, do that as well. Best of both worlds, inside the aquarium and on top of the aquarium. So if you didn't know, plants really love your fish waste. Now you know. That's all I have for you. I just wanted to give you all my 4 hacks that I've learned in aquarium hobby over recent years that I wish I would have known a long time ago. But today, if you didn't know, you found out something new and you learned it much faster than me, hopefully. But I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you learned something. I hope that you're inspired by something. If you're new to the channel, please do a few things before you go. Hit the subscribe button. Hit that notification bell. And everyone, if you like the video, like the damn video. Peace. Have a great Sunday. Catch you tomorrow.